The event personality, Dr. Meera, Associate Professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, VNIT Nagpur. I would like to request Dr. Neeta Thakur and Dr. Devi Renkar to welcome Dr. Meera Dhabu and with this up. It's a great pleasure for me to introduce you today's resource person, Dr. Meera Dhabu. She is Associate Professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering at VNIT Nagpur. She has more than 70 years of experience in teaching. Her area of interest is machine learning optimization for cyber business data analytics. She has published more than 30 research papers in reputed international journals and conferences. She is associated with 5 consultancy projects with costing in crore. She organizes various conferences and 10 plus workshops. She is core community member of Rashtriya Avishkar Abhiyan under the umbrella of VNIT, guiding students and teacher of 6 NMC school in Nagpur area is that science and mathematics. She is a faculty mentor for Triple ITN and having the lifetime membership of IEEE, ACM and IB. I request ma'am to proceed with the session.
Thank you. Quintessential. MMT explain this way. नीचे का वीडियो को. Do you have remote control? It's difficult. So, shall I? Students will listen to me like this. Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. You can understand how difficult it is to be seated, that too for the post-lunch session and with such a pleasant atmosphere outside the class. Okay, so everything cannot be driven by our opinion or our wish. That is the human mind. Okay, so you have to be here and you have to listen to my talk. Uh, so today's topic is explainable artificial intelligence. I just want to know how many of you are doing some project to work in machine learning or AI, whatever you call it. Just raise the hands.
PhD. In AI.
Okay, many of you, most of the projects, either you might be guiding, you might be doing, or whatever it is. Okay, most of the projects are ML based AI. Okay, so one more thing, I might be using AI and ML term interchangeably. Sometimes deep networks also, or deep DNN also. Okay. Uh, if you talk about CSE community like us, we more talk about the ML, but if you talk about the Sundar Pichai, he made AI term more popular. Okay, like he always used to make the terminology AI, and if you talk about the common population, so they are very fascinated with the term AI. Next. Okay, so today's presentation I divided into 3 parts. First part is about the AI. I know most of you knows what is AI, but just a recap because I want to focus on some aspect to carry forward to the next topic or the next part of the presentation. So in the next part, I would like to focus more on challenges, what AI community is facing, and the third part is explainable AI. Can I have the laptop like this so I will control myself? Okay, this is the one. So let us start with AI. Everyone knows it is not new, but this is that AI is used in Chandrayaan 3. Now, if it is known to all, especially to the Indian community, then why I included this in my presentation? It is just my style of uh, giving the respect to the team who were involved in Chandrayaan 3. Otherwise, I cannot do. Only I can publicize, I can say good words about them. So this is one salutation from my side to the team Chandrayaan 3. So, not to be discussed in more in detail that what all kind of controllers or decisions the Chandrayaan 3 had made, which is based on AI technology. So, we know in 40s and 50s, 1950s, scientists realized that the way humans think is typically different from how they conceived the idea of computer, and they started the writing algorithms which ultimately converted into the programs and then the applications. So they thought that the conventional programming practice will not work if you want to develop an intelligent system. If one want to design an intelligent system, then we need to investigate ourselves how the human being think before making some decision and before making some action. Okay, so then they realize that we need to have some different kind of pedagogy or different kind of technology which will try to mimic the way human think, human learn, and human control the things. Okay, and from there the term artificial intelligence point up, and then the machine learning, because we want to bring that intelligence into the machine, which is the dumb piece otherwise, dumb piece of electronics. Now, how it works? How does it work? Everyone knows. I will quickly go through this because there is a less time now with us. We have some data. That data might be generated through some experiment, or if you want, if you don't have a direct access to the data, you will simulate that data. You will write some statistical simulator which will generate a data similar to what the experiment will be generating. After that, you are collecting the data. If the pre-processing cleaning of the data is required, then you will do all kind of pre-processing on the data to make it to usable for designing the machine learning algorithm or to build an AI system. Okay, the way this is the way we create the database, and then we will try to think about, okay, which model to be used, which technique to be used from AI, and out of the many available techniques suitable for the particular domain, you will select the model, and then you will train the model, and ultimately, if it is about the classification, that model will do perform the classification, and then you will try to optimize the model. You will evaluate the model by using various evaluation metric and so on. And then it is not the case that you will, once you design the model, in ML based model, it is deployed and you are continually using it, because new instances are coming in, and that new instances might be having some new additional information which need to be which to be learned by the machine again. So that loop will go on, that you will do the prediction, again it will go back to the system will retrain, and again it will use the new acquired knowledge for the future predictions. Okay, so this okay, before going to the next slide, typically what we say is, in AI, I designed a model. Okay, I designed a model, ANN based, deep ANN based, fuzzy based, genetic algorithm based, or ART based, whatever it is. You are designing a model. Okay, why we say model? Why we say model? Actual system is there. Generally, we design a model for a system. So system is there, and then you cannot make that system to predict tomorrow's value or tomorrow's anything. Okay, so you want to learn the behavior, so you want to have some kind of a similar model. As we say that it is a model, so model cannot be 100% accurate, because it is a model, it is not a system. Okay, so I want to make the audience clear that there are two terms I am using. One is a system, which is the actual system. It might be a virtual system, weather or whatever. Weather is also itself is a system, or some industry, or your classroom. It can be a system. I'm delivering a lecture. The way you are acquiring your knowledge, that is another system. So whatever is it, there is the actual system, and then you want to simulate that system for which you are building the model. Okay. So now, is this term coined just because with the AI, or it was already into the existence modeling? Okay, because if somebody says that okay, I designed so and so model, so other person generally get very impressed. Is it so? No, it is not so. We have been introduced a number system in pre-nursery, nursery, KG1, KG2. The teacher will teach you the decimal number from 0 to 9. They will ask you to practice the writing also. And then once you go to the grade 1, teacher will try to teach you how to add a number keeping the difficulty level very low. Addition of two numbers, and that addition should not exceed the 10. Okay, then gradually you move to the grade 2. The teacher will increase the difficulty level. Now you have to do the arithmetics with 2-digit addition and subtraction and multiplication of single digit number. Okay, and then again in the third grade, again the difficulty level will increase further, and then the size of the decimal number in the terms of number of digits will be increased, and the whole life still we are keep learning the mathematics. Okay, why they taught us this? Why number system was introduced to us? I am just taking one example of the number system. You can take example of language also, or any other thing, science, history, geography, whatever it is. It is easy for us to understand. That's why I am mentioning here about the
They
mathematics.
are building patterns. They are teaching patterns.
That is a recognition. Other than addition, I am saying addition. Here the mathematics is about adding the digits, adding decimal numbers. Why? Why arithmetic is being taught in the first grade, right? Addition and then multiplication and so on. There are many examples, right? If I mean there is a family, and in family they have a very sweet family, two kids, mother, father, grandmother and father. Okay, and now the younger son wants to host the birthday party for his friend. Okay, so what will be the obvious discussion at the home? The younger one wants to host the party.
Number of
Okay, so the elder one will say, I would like to invite at least my close friend. And what is the concern of mother?
his family members, her family members, or
Her
close
family members.
relatives.
Okay,
Close
but main concern will be how many guests will be invited.
Right,
That will be the main concern for, because she is required to do the preparation required for the celebration. Okay, so what she will do? She will declare that, boss, tell me how many both of you together, how many friends would you like to invite? I want a number. So what is the problem? What is the problem statement? The number of invitees for the birthday party from the kids' sides. Okay, so the younger one will give one figure, the elder one will give another figure. Okay, and the both will do the addition. So addition is used as a modeling element. They have modeled the problem by adding two numbers. So it is not the case that the modeling is introduced to us only along with the AI. No, it was already there. Right from grade 1, we did modeling. Okay, shopkeeper there. Then we came to the multiplication in the second grade. And if you look at the parents, you will realize that as kid goes to the second grade, third grade, then what parents will try to do, if they want to buy a base for the pizza, if kids are demanding, then they will say that okay, I will go along with you, but you have to go to the shopkeeper and bring that, buy that. Why? He should be able to do the calculation, and calculation for the how much money to be paid, how much money to be taken back, and so on. Okay, so it is not the case that the modeling we have not done. Right from the small classes, grade 1, we started modeling, doing the modeling. Only the thing is, nobody made us realize that okay, we did the modeling. Okay, so what is the model? As I said, it's just a representation of an object or any system or a procedure. Okay, other than the entity itself or the system itself. Now, why we do the modeling? Why we require to have a model? Sometimes it is not possible for us to to perform the experiment on the system, or to have a data, or we want to have a similar kind of model or the system which will predict or which will behave like the system. So how we develop a model? Like in first year, most of you might have taken an electrical engineering circuit, right? One of the course. Now, electrical equations are given. The relationship between current, resistance, voltage, and so and so. Okay, and you are supposed to solve the equation. Why you are not supposed to do on the experimental setup? You are writing the equation for any electrical equation. Why you are writing the electrical equation? Because it is not possible for every time changing the resistance practically and then getting how much voltage it will be, how much current will pass, if I increase the voltage, how much will be the current, how much will be the resistance. No, it is not possible. So the scientists long back understood the relationship between current, voltage and resistance. They formulated a mathematical model, and now we are taking a liberty of using those equations to get the knowledge, to investigate that further. Okay, so there also you did the modeling. So it is very obvious that one of the form of modeling is a mathematical model. Okay, one of the form of, so there are three types of modeling. The first one is the physical, second one is the mathematical, and third one is the simulation. So electrical, equation or mathematical equation or any another equation, if you can write down the relationship between the input and output of the system in the form of mathematical equation, this means that you have represented that system with a mathematical model. Okay, physical, everyone knows, if you are creating a miniature size of system. Okay, generally if you go to the any builder's office or any architect office, they will have a display that okay, this is the 3D of the building and this is the 3D of the interior of the flat or office space, whatever it is. Okay, so that miniature is the physical system. Then simulation, the third type comes the simulation. Why simulation? Again, pilots are initially trained on the simulators. Okay, your generation is of the video game. So I don't have to tell you much that when you play the video game, what experience you get, that you yourself are there in the environment. Okay, so these are the three types of model. Now, once you are required to design a model, so how we go further? This is nothing but a system identification. You need to understand the system. So how I will understand the system? I need to understand the relationship between the input and output. If the input is this, what will be the output? If I change the input by this much amount, if I reduce it, increase it, what will be the output? Okay, so if you can, and there are a number of reasons why we do that. We want to predict the system's behavior for the time space data, or you want to have some interaction or relationship between the input and output, or you want to control some system. Okay, so mathematically I will say that if x is the input and y is the input, so y is some function of input and some parameters. Okay, so those set of parameters I have represented with theta. It is a set of parameters. Okay, it is not a single value. Now again, there are two steps in system identification, that is structure identification and parameter identification. Structure identification is nothing but given a problem statement, whether I should make use of AI or I should write a conventional program using while, if, for and so on. Okay, once you decide you are required to make use of some AI technique, then again you need to investigate whether I am required to make use of, or fuzzy logic is appropriate, or neural network, or deep neural network, or ART, or genetic algorithm. So identifying which technique you are required to make use of is nothing but structure identification. That structure identification is very simple, because once you have a problem in your hand, you will be interviewing the person or the expert who is a domain expert. So you will get easily idea that what kind of technique you should use for building the structure of that system. The difficult task is parameter identification. Whatever the research today is going on, it is completely focused on the parameter identification. Okay, so what is this parameter identification? Just as I said, for the electrical circuit, long back the researchers understood the relationship between the three parameters, and based on that they represented that relationship with a mathematical equation. Okay, so it might be the case that the relationship between the input and output is very straightforward, and it can be represented with a linear equation. Okay, Sometimes the system is little complicated, little complex. It might not be, we are not able to represent with a linear equation. We are supposed to make use of some non-linear equation. Okay, but the story doesn't stop here. If the system is very, very complex, which is the case of all real world application, where the relationship between the input, when I say input, it is an independent parameter, and when I say output, it is a dependent parameter. So the value of dependent parameter, that is y, changes as the value of x changes. Okay, that is why independent and dependent parameters. So if the relationship between or mapping between input and output is not so straightforward, it is beyond human understanding, then we are required to take help of AI. Okay, this is the time where you need to think that, okay, I should make use of any one of the suitable AI techniques. Okay, that is how we do the selection of any technique available with us. And here, that theta, y is a function of x and theta. So theta are the free parameters. So if you look at the first equation, linear equation, the theta is a set of a, b, c, d. And same is the case for nonlinear equation. The theta is a set of a, b, c, d. Okay, if the relationship is very, very complex, then these parameters will, the free parameters will learn. So in AI, what we do, we rely on the AI technique to learn these parameters, and that is why these parameters are called free parameters. These parameters are called free parameters. Okay, so this figure shows the spectrum of AI. Okay, so AI is a very big umbrella. Under the AI, we can say there is a subsection which we call machine learning. In machine learning, we know linear regression, logistic regression, SVM, RBF, and then neural network, fuzzy logic, and so on comes. And then Bayesian networks, and then again there is a subsection that is a deep learning. Okay, I think our generation is more fascinated. Once you designed AI based model, it is not sufficient. You need to prove, you need to justify how your model is performing, how good it is, how bad it is, how ugly it is. Okay, so for that there are few evaluation metrics or criteria, I will say. All of us are aware of this: precision, recall, confusion matrix, F1 score, accuracy plus weighted loss, then ROC, AUC, and lift. Okay, not to mention much over here, I listed very few out of all possible. Okay, now the game changer is this: because of deep networks. Okay, because of deep networks, the things has changed a lot. What we do here, what the deep networks or advanced network facilitated to us, they are data hungry, give the data to those system. Those techniques will learn the underlying pattern to map input to a particular output or the target output automatically. You don't have to program how to map a given input to the target output. It will learn that at its own. Okay, and again, once you design a model, or if in future if there is a concept drift, or if there is anything changes, again you are having the data over a period, you will collect that data, again you train the data, train the model. Okay, and if at all in the first go, if you are not able to build a beautiful or successful or accurate model, accuracy will never be 100%. As I said, it is an model is always an approximation. Okay, then you will change the, either you will try to change the free parameter. If it is not helping you, you will try to change the hyperparameter, set of hyperparameters. Okay, so that is what, so how it works everyone knows here, so I will just go through it. That the deep networks try to capture small features. Okay, and then Such many small features together can identify an object in a given image or given data. Okay, so this is a typical network or depiction of the network, deep network, and the application of that deep network for the classification between the dog and wolf. No further, I think, no discussion is required on this. I hope everyone knows this. Okay. Now, surprisingly, if you look at this chart, ImageNet is the database for the recognition, pattern recognition, and every year they throw a challenge. There are various versions of the dataset. Okay. Now, till 2010, see the performance of the competition. It is very low. The accuracy was very, very low. And now look at 2012, 2013, and now 2017. The accuracy is improved like anything else. Okay, before 2010, or okay, fine, I will say before 2010, the practice was handcrafted features are there, and those handcrafted features are converted into feature vectors, and then those are considered as an input to the model. Okay, but after 2012, especially towards 2015, the researchers came with a good result with the help of deep networks. This success is only possible 2013 onward or 2012 onward just because of the deep networks. Okay, so this is a success story of the deep network, and all of you knows what all applications we can design, we can develop with the help of deep network or any other AI technology. Like my students are working in the area of healthcare, finance, energy, then autonomous vehicle, cyber security. So I can comment on that, natural language processing, and so on. Okay, so this is a success story. This slide gives you the success story. But out of this, I picked only one, that is style transfer. Can anybody tell me the recent happening in the India? What happened? I'm giving you the hint. Narendra Modi. Deep fake videos. Okay? So, style transfer is one of the application. Okay. Now, if anybody asks me, is it a good practice? I will say yes. Why not? Any technology, any technique is always good. It is having both. It is like a coin, positive as well as negative. If a company is there and they launched the garment for the obese people. Okay. Now that company might get very handsome, beautiful model, but the one who is very fat, she or he, would not like to become a face in the advertisement. In the advertisement, so they can generate an virtual image of a very heavy person. Okay, and they can show that how their designed product attire is fitting, looking very nice on that person. Okay, so they are not required to pay to any model, and people might be, I mean, the models might be hesitant to show themselves as a fatty person. Okay, so there are good and bad side of every coin. Everyone knows this. Okay, from the daily message of Obama, people generated the fake videos. They generated the videos of the content which they want to propagate amongst the population. Okay, if you talk about, if somebody wants to hamper a video or wants to create a fake image, how much efforts one used to require to put in? to create that fake video, fake image, lots of hours and hours on computer. Okay, but now the ready-made programs are there. You just give the input and you will get the output in 1 or 2 minutes. Okay, so it becomes very easy. Okay, so it is not the case that what we are going through is a golden era of AI and it was there always. No. If you look at the history of the neural network is also very interesting. The Michelangelo, the two researchers, proposes the first mathematical model for the artificial neuron in long back in 1930s. But then they realized that they can solve only by trial and error. They evaluated or they come up with the values of free parameter and they implemented few logic functions. But they realized that to solve little difficult problem, they need to have some learning algorithms. Then near about in 60s, the single layer perceptron was proposed, which was the first learning algorithm, and it proves mathematically that the algorithm converges. But then Minsky and Papred published their thesis mentioning the limitation of SLP, single layer perceptron. Okay, so that was a big setback to the AI ANN community, and there the big industries like IBM and all, they stopped funding AI based research. Okay, if funds are not there, how the researchers will do the funds, will do the research, because it is their bread and butter. Okay, so it is not the case that is why the AI has gone through 2 winters. Okay, but now it is at its eternal spring, which we know. Okay, now generally when we come up with the AI based model, we as a designer we think about how the output of this model will be used. Okay, what should be the non-functional parameter. Generally in SRS we mention NFRs. Okay, then how the output should be pipelined, how the model should be deployed, when to retrain the network, how to replace a new trained network with a older one, and so on. So these are the typical questions when we design a model and when we want to deploy that AI based model. Okay, so to summarize, a pragmatic issue which we face while deploying the deep learning models is mostly if it is based on supervised machine learning algorithm, then generating the label itself is very difficult. Okay, let me share you. We are doing a research project with AIMS Nagpur with the opthal department. When we had a meeting, they gave us a problem statement which was fairly nice, good to us. But during the second or third interaction meeting with them, they told us that nowadays optical scan, retinography can speak lot many things about the complete body and not only about the eye. Then they mentioned that recently they had a patient few days back, and then one of the senior most doctor realized that he is going to have a brain hemorrhage looking at the retinal scan. Okay, he is going to have a now. So she immediately sent him to the MRI section, but as a government hospital, it is already overloaded. So they gave him an appointment after 1 month. And then she called the department that I think that this is very urgent. You should give the appointment as early as soon. So they gave the appointment to that patient after 8 days for 8 days. But after 4 days, that patient landed in a hemorrhage attack in the hospital, and then the neuropathy doctor called the opthal that your prediction was correct. He landed with us in an attack. So it can be taken as a preventive measure. So what they were telling us is now retinal scan should not be restricted only to identify what all eye related illness or diseases that person is having. It is like if there are some veins, arteries, like heart. If you want to see the blockages in the heart, you need to go through the invasive technique. Okay, invasion. That is something need to be inserted in your body, and of course it has to be done with a very specialized surgeon and so on. So and require hospitalization, whereas retinal scan is like you go see, get your eyes collect image and just you go without any invention. Then we thought that okay, we will do this. They proposed that can you help us? So we said that yes, we can, but then we need a data. We need a data. Now two departments are involved. One is of health, another is related to brain. Then Dr. Iyer started collecting the data, and then she started putting a circle with your marker, no, whichever is available with the software, the way we no, mark anything on our PDF file and so on. And then she started sharing. I said, ma'am, this will not work with us. We want exact square and the label to that. Okay, so if really we want to take that project seriously ahead, then what we need, we want a dedicated person sitting there, scanning the image and labeling that area of that scan. So you just think about how many specialized man hours will be required just to generate the label one. So it comes with a cost. Okay, and cost always counted in terms of time and specialization. Okay, moreover, it needs lots of data, expensive to train. I hope everyone knows that the quantity of the carbon footprint created by an NLP translator like ChatGPT. Okay, so while training, it generates the footprint equivalent to a flight from India to Boston. This much is the carbon footprint created by the computing system while training. So it is very expensive. Okay, and of course we need to define the architecture. We are required to do the optimization in terms of free parameter as well as hyperparameter. So all these are the pragmatic issues which we generally consider while deploying any AI based system. Okay, but the story doesn't stop here, it continues. These are the challenges we know. We know how to tackle those challenges, and we are still coping with those challenges, but there are few more challenges for the AI community. UN has released Article 22 about the General Data Protection Regulation. What it says, majorly, two or three points I would like to say about the data privacy. You are capturing the data, about the data privacy, the use of that data. Moreover, if if AI is being used in a decision making which involves human lives, then that should be audited, or you need to get it evaluated. Okay, so these are the major points of this Article 22. So again, the people debated, although the question on whether the GDPR has a right to explanation, so that is jokes apart. So we need to tackle these challenges, okay, while harnessing the potential of machine learning. How many of you are aware of adversarial ML? You designed the ML, right? AI based system or machine learning based system. How it is performing is fine. It is also there. You show that okay, it is giving me the accuracy of 96%, 98%. Okay, F1 score is this for the clustering problem. The confusion matrix is this, and so and so. Okay, but is it really? If you look at the first row, which talks about the semantic attack, if that attack is launched on the input, the accuracy of model dropped down to 0.2, that is 23%. Originally, without any attack, it was 0.9%, I mean 98%. Okay, the first row is just about if you add the noise to the data. The second row is adding or perturbating some pixel with some intention, with some technique. Third row, fourth row and fifth row is also the same. And see how the accuracy dropped. Okay, right from 98% it is dropping to the 23% of, and that too on the very popular self-claimed data set like MNIST. This is from the abstract of paper titled One Pixel Attack for Fooling Deep Neural Network. I underline few things. The input data is easily altered by adding relatively small perturbations to the input vector. I will read the next one which I had highlighted. The result shows that 67.97% of the natural image in Kaggle CIFAR 10 test dataset and 16.04% of the ImageNet test images can be perturbed to at least one target class. It is very targeted attack. Only one target class by modifying just one pixel. Here the input images are noised or modified only by one pixel, but it is perturbated in such a way that so that it will classify, it will, I will not say correctly classify, it will get misclassified to a particular target class. Not much. Why it is important? You deploy the system, right? But you after some time you are required to retrain the network based on what data you have collected. Okay, so that collected data itself, so naturally when the model will be retrained, it will take this data, which is not correct. Okay, and to show you if this is my neural network which I trained, and where for the given input images it is giving me the very good accuracy of 0.99% for the lion, Risker for 0.7%, I mean 74%, and the traffic light 99%. Okay, but just by adding a small plant noise, I will not say noise, perturbation of the input vector. Okay, it deteriorated further. And if you see, there is not much difference between the two input images. By very small input or by change to the input, it can be. Same is the example of the stop sign. Why I have taken stop sign? Why I have taken stop sign? Autonomous vehicle, driverless cars are very popular, right? Nowadays, everyone is talking, everyone wants to do some kind of research. Okay? Now you know that these signs are placed in the public places. Okay? You cannot have, I mean, you cannot monitor the environment where this stop sign is deployed if because of the weather, because of the wear and tear, if some paint get is not there, or mischievously or casually somebody did something, paste something, see the noise added or the strip added to the stop, but because of that it is not being identified by the autonomous vehicle controller, which is very serious, very serious aspect. Okay, another one, everyone is going for the CCTV closed circuit camera, right? Why? To have a vigilance. Can I mean, assume that your institute has deployed a CCTV in your library or no labs, so that there should not be any theft cases. Okay, and assume that you have designed a solution, you deployed it, that whenever you are finding someone taking something, you will capture that and you will put alarm on. Okay, so can I make that system full? You are very happy because most of the cases, the person, the theft, the no, will come, will try to take something and will move with that. You are not supposed to carry inside something to the library and you cannot take out anything from the library, especially from the reading room or the journals where the journals are kept. Okay, so there are. So if you deploy some system, can you fool that system? So this is an example. It is a proven one, right? I have taken this from all this from published paper. Uh, so here he is just hanging a picture which is also having some human figures, and the system deployed over there didn't identify that human, rather identified that. Okay, otherwise that deployed product was identifying the human being, but as soon as something came up, we can fool the system. Here the system failed. Same is case for the people are putting CCTV at home also. They are going to on vacation saying that CCTV to hai, and behind them thefts are taking place. How? People are coming, covering their face, okay, with corona. Still some people are not came out of the mask. You can see, especially in the school kids, they are continuously using the mask. Okay, so if your application is designed to identify only faces, will it work? Will it work? No, it will not. You designed it, okay, it is recognizing the faces. It is recognizing that this object is a human being, this object is a computer, this object is a table, this object is a whiteboard, okay. But if there are some changes over a period, then the system will fail. Here is an example of Tesla owner who try to cover up a human being with a triangle output when there is some construction or want to abstract some part of the road, and then the Tesla software failed here. Okay. Already I talked about the generative ANN, deep network. What are the implications? People use it especially to polarize the population. Okay. Sometimes it is also presented as evidences in the code. Okay, and that is what I asked. The recent incidents happened in India. I tried to find out the image of deep fake video of Modi ji, but I think now it is removed. Only wherever there is an image, it is like a failed sort of stamp is there on some of the websites. Okay, fine. So these are some challenges which are not taken care when we design AI based system. Moreover, how we design an AI system, how we design a deep neural network using the data itself. Okay, do you think that the data being collected for training the network is not having any bias? It is generated from me and you. Okay, we are only generating the data on day-to-day life basis. Don't you think that it is biased? How many of you says that I'm not biased? Everyone is biased. Everyone. At one friend might not be on another friend, but everyone is biased. The one who is saying I'm not biased is not have not might not be introspect themselves or need to introspect themselves. Okay, so data what we have on which we are building the AI system itself is having the biases. So the system will also be biased. Okay, so that is another challenge. Okay, that is what even one study, psychological studies presented that if a judge is responsible to give the decision on the payroll of a criminal who is in the jail, they found that if judge had a meal just immediately giving the judgment, it will pass that application. So they found the relationship between the duration and the judgment time. The last meal the judge had and the judgment time. So it is biased. If he is happy because his stomach is full, he is passing that application. So data itself is biased. Okay, and on that, moreover, there is another study that in New York, the government decided to do the frisking to reduce the use of banned substances and weapons. Okay, so they randomly stopping the public and they frisking them. Okay, now when the data was collected for that, how many people were frisked and how many found with the weapons or substance, banned substances, the result was the analysis of that data was very surprisingly weird. That out of 100, 88% personals were black. Okay, 88% was black, so they doubted more black people. Moreover, if they frisk 100 people, black people, then only one third people was having some substance or weapon, whereas the number of white people they frisk, more than 60% found with weapon or bad substance. So what we can say, the white people was actually carrying, more white people was actually carrying the banned substances and weapon, whereas they tried to frisk more because it was biased. Everyone knows about the America, right, on this aspect. Okay, so this, why we are talking about this, because whatever the, now people are in some of the countries, the AI is deployed for the financial applications, for the judicial applications also. Okay, so but AI, we know it is a complex and opaque decision, hard to understand. Okay, so here the concept I want to mention here is, you are giving a data to the system and system is learning from the underlying data at its own. What kind of relationship or what kind of characteristic or mapping it is picking up to learn, we don't know, and we don't have a control. Can we have a machine learning algorithm where we can exercise a control that which feature to be learned and which feature not to be learned, to develop a very neutral model. Okay, so that is subjective. Now, if we look at the AI-based application, even classification, okay, it will say you will not get 1 and 0. You get probabilistic value, zero point 0.9, zero point 0.1. Okay, so whatever is the outcome of AI model is not always objective; it is always subjective. 0.9% is the probability that it is a dog, and 0.1% is the probability that the input image is a wolf. Okay, as you say, the probability of the, probability mentioned by the model for the dog is high. You are saying that it is classified as a dog, but none of the AI model generate an objective answer output. It will be always subjective decision making. So this is what I wanted to express over here, that we want to unveil the hidden biases and feedback loops. Okay, feedback loop because of the data which is being generated, and the same data is, that data might be biased, which we are collecting from the human behavior, and we are reusing the data to retrain the network and so on. Okay, so again this is about the data transparency, then transparency and notification. This is the topic. If the algorithm, we are saying that AI is an opaque, model is opaque, we cannot understand what it is doing internally, what kind of pattern it is identifying, or on which, looking at which pattern present in the input data, it is giving that I'm classifying it into the input data, the probability that it is an image of dog is zero point 0.9 and so on. So that is not known, but there are many points on which we need to have some trust, like from where data is generated. If data itself is biased, the model will become a bias, the trained model will be biased. What kind of algorithm is you are using? Are you using appropriate algorithm with appropriate free parameter, with appropriate hyperparameters? Whether all these parameters are tuned with each other, then the source of learning data, the assumption you have made while developing the model, and so and so. Okay, so now I will skip some. Now, as I said, GDPR is already in place by EU. So now there is a pressure from the government regularization, that body, that we want the explanation for every act done by the AI. Okay, there are many examples of biases or discrimination. Yeah, this is interesting one. In mid 60, less than 10% females were there in the big orchestra. Okay, top 5 big orchestra. Then they moved from face to face to the behind screen audition. And surprisingly, they found that after the behind the screen audition, now 160% women are there in the top 5 orchestra. So this much polarization or biases might be there when human himself or herself takes some decision. Okay, so data. The point I want to emphasize here is the data generated itself is a might be very biased. Okay, another very interesting case study. How many of you knows gerrymandering related to American election? Okay, in American states, the elections are little different. They divide the voters into various districts such that each district will have more or less equal number of voters. Equal number of voters. Now, if in a particular district, if there are 10 seats, 10 electorates, and if anyone, I mean there are few small parties also, but one is Democratic and another is Republican. Okay, and if out of the 10 seats, if any one party wins 7 and another wins 3, okay, the complete is 10. That 3 will get transferred to the winning party. Got my point? Okay, this is the strategy they follow. That is what. Now, and they have, they enjoy the privilege of changing the districts. It is called redistricting. It is called redistricting. Before the election, they will change the district, which city will go into which district. They do have a control. Every government is having the control on that before the election. So, how they are taking the advantage, how the political parties are taking the advantage of this is, they will restructure or they will do the districting in such a way that if opposition parties voters are more at one place, so they will divide in such a way that they will get divided into different districts. So when the election will be held, the opposition party will get less vote and the winning party will win. I mean the ruling party will have a chances of winning. Okay, so they are trying to do this. So again, no, it is again done by with the help of machine learning. So if you look at this figure which I have shown in the yellow and green, okay. So if you look at the figures, little difficult. So 60% is green and 40% is yellow. But then if I go horizontally, if I do the districting like this, then it is like 5 is green and yellow I think there is a misprint, and so on. Okay, I hope you got it. Okay, wherever there is a good chunk of voters from the opposition party, divide the area in such a way it will become smaller, smaller, smaller chunk. Okay, so they will have a less chance of winning. Or another very popular term, I mean, very popular thing came up when Trump won the election. The total number of votes received by Trump was less than the Hillary. Still, he became a president. Okay, that is another beautiful case study. One can go through it. So, impact, as I said, it can be misused by the ruling party. Okay, and it was well studied and it was objected by the opponent, and then it was argued also by the defendant that, and then again there is a efficiency gap, there is a mathematical equation to compute the efficiency gap. Okay, but then again, uh, what should be the ideal efficiency gap is another question mark for that. Okay, so if this is the case, then it becomes really very important for the human being to take the human values more seriously if you are using AI based applications. Okay, because those might be biased. Those might be biased. Okay, in short, what I would like to say that if you deployed any AI based software, doesn't mean that you get a card to get out of that application ethic free. Okay, that should not be the case. So what I mean, there is a subsection in the population uh, who are advocating the need of cultivating the suspicion. If somebody designed AI based application, is it really following the human ethics or not? Okay, so suspicion, scrutiny, and investigation of the platform, then emphasizing on the algorithm accountability. Is it really working well for the well-being of the human or not? Okay, and it will come only through auditing and the meaningful transparency of that application. Uh, in the era of AI, one should forcefully required to keep the moral up. Otherwise, along with, I always suggest that, I mean, in the haste of using any API or any app, when you download the API app, it always asks you, share your photo gallery, share your contacts, share your SMS, okay? And we keep on saying, yes, yes, yes. Is it correct? Is it correct? You are giving the liberty to use your private data, okay, and people can create a profile just looking at your data, so which is not very good. So one has to be very, I mean, you need to keep the hold on human models. So what is this explainable AI? Okay, I just mentioned you the list, and now I am coming to the explanation. Explainable AI. Okay, so still AI application is a black box for us. If anyone comes to you and say that, okay, your AI is saying that for this input, this is the output. But do you have any justification how it is being generated? Or on what basis it is generating? No, you don't have. Or in the very first class, when students start asking, I teach them the soft computing technique. So the day I start ANN, I say that it is a black box. Rather, when I started mentioning about or discussing about the model, what I said, when the complexity of the problem goes beyond the human understanding. If it is understandable, we can write a mathematical equation. Might be linear, might be non-linear. But when it becomes non-linear and very, very complex, which is the case for most of the real-world application, then it is not within our capacity to understand the mapping of input to output, and then then only we decide that I need to make use of AI. That is a decision making no, point. So you are not able to conceive the relationship between the input and output, and that's why you took the help of AI. So when it is you have developed the product and somebody asks you justify this, will you be able to justify it? Because it is a black box. Okay, so that is what we know. But we want explanation. We want, so now, as I said, there is a subsection of the population which which says that we don't want to believe your AI based technology blindly. So we are required to unbox that black box. Okay? And how? Again, I will go through some. We know AI system, what all application we can design. Okay? Then why explainable AI is required. So first we will see why explainable AI. Once you design a system and that system generated some output, the authorities, the employee might get that result, he might submit that to the higher authority, but higher authority might raise the question, why do you do that? Why not something else? When do you succeed before? Okay, when do you fail? When can I trust you? Okay, how do I correct an error if there is an error? As I said, model is always approximation and not the exact system. Okay, so there are, everyone knows this news, right? The first one is, because of the social media, because of some rumor, somebody lost life. Everyone knows that. Okay, chor hai, chor hai, chor hai. Fine. Then now robots are used in microsurgeries. So how accurate it is? When I say micro surgeries, they are always it is for the delicate organs. Okay, we are talking about the autonomous vehicles. Okay, driverless vehicles. Now see the bottom line. What I am saying. If at all accident took place, who is responsible? Car manufacturer or the driver or the owner of the car? Whose whose mistake it is? Because the owner is relying on the software deployed by the car manufacturer. So the legal point comes here. Whom to sue for that accident? If the life of somebody is involved, then who will take them? I mean, whose insurance should be claimed? Okay, and so and so. Okay, and recently drone example, that drone started firing back, assuming the launcher as one of the enemy. Okay, so this is it. So again, I am revisiting the same slide. Deep networks. We are assuming that the first layer is extracting the minute feature, higher layer no, combining those small features, constructing the little bigger features, and so on. And the deep network goes on, and ultimately it will come up with few feature vector which will actually be representative of the objects which we want to get classified with by using that model. This is our understanding, our blank belief. But is the model working that way? Is the model working that way? That the question is still there. Why did you do that? Why not something else? When do you succeed? Okay? When do you fail? How can I, how much I should trust you, and so on. So the questions are there. Okay? If you are generating any answer and submitting to the higher authority to take the action or to make the decision, so it is not easy. The person will, the higher authority will ask the justification for that. Okay? So now this is what we have done till today. Okay, but now the things are not going to be so easy. Tomorrow you need to have some sub module in the same system which will generate the explanation why this output is generated. Okay, so if you look at the difference between the first figure and the second figure, that the one sub module, that is explainable module, is introduced, and of course the kind of explanation the machine will generate, it might not be understandable by the human being, it should be in a readable form. So one more module which will make that explainable things readable for the human being, which is based on NLP mostly. Okay, and now I can, the one who is using the system which is having an explanation module will be able to answer all the questions which was fired by his boss. Okay, one more example, rocket launching. whether the rocket was launched before the ceasefire or after the ceasefire. Okay, rocket launch image is there in the system, but timestamp is also important. Okay, so then not only the image analysis. One thing I forgot to mention, the way I said, na, ki, there, if you have a CCTV system and you have an application in that which identifies the human movements from one place to another, and if somebody is holding something, okay, so then that system is not able to identify that this is a human being. Okay, so this means that, or I said that nowadays because of corona, people started, or during the corona, or if again all of us started getting a cough, we will start putting the mask, which was not never before the corona. Okay, so this means that at one point face recognition system became very popular, right? Or I will say it reaches to the maturity, even iris recognition. But with this covered face, now only face should not be the case. Your body language, your body threats, body measurement should be one of the aspects to be taken care by the system, the AI system. Okay, so things became little complicated. So here I just wanted to, so so the current status is AI is tremendously beneficial, but is effective, its effectiveness is little limited because of its inability to give or to generate the explanation about its outcome. Okay, whereas the future expectation from AI based system is it should have an explanation of what it has generated and supporting data also. So what we are going to get because of by adding this complexity to the existing model, that is the trust of the end user, legal accountability. Okay, as I said, okay, I will give the need for transparency. If now, as I said, the legal regulatory bodies are imposing that whatever the, if you are generating the decisions using the AI application, then you should be able to justify the decision. Okay, so need for transparency and businesses. Uh, recently, one well-known company came to us saying that, "Will you do the auditing of our program?" So we asked that what kind of program you write. So they said that we do the lottery program, lottery. So lottery for housing scheme, government housing scheme. Okay, and they said that okay, we will give you the algorithm, and then you just audit that algorithm and give the certificate. But that algorithm will learn from the data. If they manipulate the data, I said the biases are introduced in the system through the data. Okay, if the data set, the source of training itself is biased, then how we can say that it is unbiased system? We were required to audit, we were required to give the certification after screening that code that it is unbiased. It is purely random algorithm. None of the algorithm is random, or all the algorithms are pseudo random, but still, to that, there is no biases, there is no favorism. We deny that because they were not ready to disclose the data. They were not ready to disclose the complete program. They wanted us to just audit the algorithm. Okay, so we are saying that okay, this is a lottery system. This is based on, is it really a lottery system? Or computer is also having some kind of bias. The algorithm is also having some kind of bias. Okay, so that kind of, and we know that it is having a big impacts on the businesses. Okay, now if you go for any literature or any on the explainable AI, you find that a very popular, I will not name that algorithm on that network, they try to identify the Siberian Husky. Okay, and when an explainable AI module is attached to that, they realize that when they introspect the model, they realize that the model is identifying an object or animal as a Siberian husky based on the eyes and not on the animal. the feature extracted was surrounding eyes and not the dog. Okay. Another case is, as I said, in some of the country for releasing the criminal on the payroll, they are using AI based system. Okay, so again there is a many unique cases. One very popular case. I don't. So that software gives that how much risk is there if we release this criminal. Okay, so there was one black criminal and one white criminal, and that AI application says that there is a high risk if you release the black one, and there is no risk or very low risk with the white one. Okay, they publish the name of those criminals, but in near future, down the 10 years, they found that there was no crime against that black person, whereas there were 3 more crimes with the white one, and that judgment was generated with the help of AI. Okay, so if you're using the AI now, the legal, government is asking that on which parameters the decisions are made by AI. Now, in this case, they realize that, in this example, they realize that it is making the decision using the race and gender. Okay. Another, as I said, finance is one another application where the AI is used predominantly. And if I take an example of loan application, loan application might get denied, okay, rejected. But then the applicant would like to know what kind of improvement I should bring in my financial aspect dimensions, so that next time when I will apply for the loan, the loan will get approved. Okay, so here the requirement is recourse, the justification or explanation. Another is healthcare, where again they found that the system is intelligent system is making a decision using the wrong parameters and not the correct one. So what we are required to do is, in summary, we need to debug the system. Okay, we need to identify if there are any biases. It should be able to generate the recourse why the application is denied or cancelled. It should build the end user trust, okay, and it should have a deployment readiness. And as I said, the stakeholder for this, the end user, decision maker, regulatory agencies, and research and engineering. Okay. It is not the case that this explainable AI is a new terminology. It was there. When the people started talking about it, then the DARPA, that is Defense Department Research Arm, formulated one body in 2012-15, and then they circulated that the objective and goal, that what should be there officially. The challenges, or it is not the case that if I build a linear regression model for the data which is very complex, which is not linearly separable, okay, I can build. What is the problem? That I will get very less accuracy, less performance. Okay, so everyone knows that if the complexity increases, I am required to make use of the more sophisticated tool. Okay, if I compromise on the performance, then it's fine. Okay, now there is a trade-off. If you look at the linear model can be represented with a linear equation. Okay, so if you come up with a linear model, it is very easy for you to give the explanation for that. But if your data is very complex, you are required to develop a very complex model, and again, the explanation will not be there. The relationship is not very straightforward, and you cannot give the explanation. So there is a trade-off. Okay. So now we are here at orange data points, and we want to go to the green data points, where keeping the performance same, we also want to have the explanation. I'm skipping some slides now. Of course, if I am introducing some module, I should have some measuring parameters or metrics. Again, any AI model can be categorized into two: inherently explainable and inherently non-explainable. If I talk about the linear one, linear regression, to some extent logistic regression, and to extent decision tree if the decision tree is short. If it is having the thousands of levels, then it cannot be. And interestingly, if you design a model using the decision tree or whatever the little simpler model, and you can represent that using the if-else rule. Okay, once you represent that as an if-else rule, then you can do a data mining to find out the patterns also. So there is an application of data mining in this area also. Either you can go for frequently occurring patterns or MFI, whatever. Okay, so this is a trade-off I try to say, that is a black box, accuracy versus interpretability. If you want to compromise on the accuracy, interpretability is very easy. Okay, there are various types of or techniques of to build inherently interpretable models, and there are few metrics on which you can evaluate the model of explainable AI. And these metrics are simplicity, intelligibility, trustworthiness, certainty, and causality. I will skip this because these are few tools which you can use to build that explainable AI model. And few videos. This video I have mentioned here. So, conclusion: explainable AI is crucial for ensuring the transparency, trust, and accountability in AI system. It is very important to have an explanation while deploying the model and before bringing and making it operational. Uh, and already some tools are there, as I mentioned in the previous slide. This slide mentioned about, I have taken this from the DARPANET. Uh, this is the list of universities which are working on a typical aspect of the deep neural network. If you look at the leftmost top image, it is saying that it is trying to analyze on which aspect the neural network or the AI system is more focusing or more having more stress while giving the decision. Same is for the self-driving vehicles and so on. Okay. Okay, I started this part that AI is a black box. Can we say now that AI is a black box? And in future also we cannot just move out saying that it is a black box. How it is mapping the particular input to the output is not known to us. Okay, there are many techniques. One is line, another is shape, which are used for extracting the local feature for explainable AI. Uh, Now the question is artificial intelligence really intelligent? Okay, so this is the abstract from the Smith's article, The AI Delusion. In his article, he wrote, "Chatbot still dumb after all these years." Okay, why? 3 to 8 years we have machine with general intelligence of an average human. So answer generated by the chatbot is progress stopped in 70 as I mentioned, but came back late in 80s. Okay, whereas the another write up, I don't have access to Lambda, but OpenAI has made it competitive GPT-3 model available for testing. For an example, I posed this common sense question and answer came up is it safe to walk downstairs backward if I close my eye? So answer came up open AI might not be very powerful but lambda certainly. Okay, so attention was given on the first part of the speech and not the latter part of the speech. Thank you. The takeaway, what I feel is from this lecture is everyone knows deep network. Okay, so what what kind of thoughts I bring with me to this place is you should be think about adversarial machine learning, that is new aspect. It is not actually new, but it is not very popular. So whenever we come, the student come up to us with a machine learning based model, you should ask them to investigate for this. And another is explainable model. Explainable model in PyTorch, there are libraries, there are API which you can use and you can ask your student to design a. This is a new area. New area. Okay, it came to my mind because at my place students complete their project within 2 or 3 months because they are using machine learning. With the Python it is very easy for them to complete the project irrespective the quantum of data you give them for handling, and you keep on adding the models, but they will finish before the Diwali. Then question arises what I should get done from them during the second phase. Okay, so I generally ask them to. Okay, it is good for researchers. Okay. Any other question? I didn't take care of any technical things here because I know once I start going through the Python code, it will become very boring for me. Okay. एक मिनट.
एक और सेक्शन है प्रैक्टिकल सेक्शन
मैं रुक गया मैडम से पूछो कि
एक कहाँ पे? पेंडिंग.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. It's a great pleasure that you have spent a valuable time with us.
This topic.
Now I request Dr. Neeta Thakre ma'am and Dr. David Henker ma'am to offer the memento as a token of love and respect.
15 minutes. Thank you. Slow.